It has, we are in a state of, and let us admit it quickly.
So
we are in a state of war.
In one breath,
yes,
you admit that this is not a ragtag army, that this group of people are highly sophisticated.
There's no argument about that.
And so the chances
beyond beyond sophistication, these are highly ideologically motivated. The greatest thing that you can use to threaten a man is that you kill him. But if a man comes out of his house or he's hiding, and his first assumption is that I am going to, I'm going to die. All right? How do you, that is another thing. Soldiers are not trained to kill themselves or to prepare to die. They are trained within limits to use weaponry to stave off the enemy and kill the enemy if possible. But insurgencies are different. Insurgencies are ready to come and charge you, and you're shooting them, and they're shooting back, even though they know they're going to die. So, and also, we can't sit down here and analyze insurgency without understanding the nature of insurgency. People have spoken about the prowess that the Nigerian military have demonstrated in the past. And we are perplexed and amazed that, is this the same military that we glorified in the past? It is the same military. But they're in a different war mode, different setting. This is an asymmetrical warfare. The border in the northeast is about 1,500 kilometers. If you are to take the 200,000 military men that we have and remove them from everywhere, and they line that border, they will still be at least 10 meters apart from the next person. So, and we have such a vast land. There are over 100 villages and towns. But the insurgents, he hides himself in another territory, in another country, and decides, I'm going to Goza tomorrow, all right, and comes down in the night, strikes, and goes away. It is not something that is easy. Our military people are doing their utmost best. And also, for instance, I've seen some videos. The last one that happened in Baga, when people are celebrating, they're taking Baga, the army was there. The army was constrained while the insurgents were inside the houses of citizens, who have been cowed, and shooting from there. The army cannot reply because you will kill the residents. The insurgents do not have such considerations. They kill anybody and anything. So, this is not, we must understand that this is a perilous warfare. This is a difficult warfare. And, it is not tea party. And we are not going to get out of it too quickly either.
Why are we seeming to handle it with kid gloves?
Kid gloves.
Well, let's take, for instance.
You put 10,000 to 15,000 soldiers on ground, you say kid gloves?
Let's take, for instance, a suspected kingpin in the Yanya bombing is on trial. And the federal government institutions are battling themselves who should prosecute, who should not prosecute. At the end of the day, the courts let him go. Are we not handling with kid gloves? How serious are we in this?
Now, listen. There are various arms of government, all right? If I were to be a judge, all right? Unfortunately, I'm not. If I were to be a judge, I don't care about the legality, the finesse of the provisions of the law and all that. If I'm convinced that this man is the man that caused the Yanya bombing, I'm not going to let him go.
What's the job of the Attorney General of the Federation?
A judge must adjudicate according to the law on the ground.
Who's the chief prosecutor of the federal government?
Is the Attorney General.
So how come he cannot enforce it? Why do the two institutions of federal government go ahead battling themselves?
Well, that was not the problem. It was not because two institutions were battling themselves that there was a problem. The problem was that the police that was handling the case did not provide sufficient evidence for the judge to act upon. So he dismissed the case.
Lots of people would say, because I know that we did take up that particular matter, and they did say, we asked lawyers what it meant for a judge to let a case go because of lack of diligent prosecution.
Correct.
Diligent prosecution, according to what they told us, was that some of the lawyers were not even coming to court. So it's very possible, people are wondering what the capacity of our security agencies are to even prosecute the people.
No. This is not a matter of security agencies. It was the police that was handling this matter. It was the police that was the prosecutor in this matter. So let us put, because when you say security agencies now, that includes SSS, that includes the military, that includes everybody.
But this is not the first case.
Yeah.
The first case was the case of the senator who was being accused of being one of the sponsors of Boko Haram. And, the judge also did show some anger in terms of the diligence of the prosecution.
Marco,
so the second one was the Buche case.
There's a universal issue about prosecuting insurgents. And that is why in other crimes, they give the security agencies almost a limitless time to do their investigations. It is extremely very difficult to come before the law, all right, without adequate preparation to be able to produce evidence that will convict a man that is an insurgent. If somebody carries an Okada and carries a woman behind him and carries her to a market and drives off, and the woman explodes her bomb and people die, and you go and arrest the Okada person, you say, wait, what did I do? What did I do? I'm a business person, I'm a transporter. The woman waved me down and I carried her, even though you know that they are working together. So what do you need? What do you need to do? You need to hold that man, Okada man, unfortunately violate his rights. All right? And that is why you need law that in cases of insurgency, certain things will be set aside. Keep him there and find corollary evidences, either from his account or from his behavior or from his previous contacts or telephone something, to be able to ground in that he is part and parcel of the insurgency network.
If we know all of this, how is it that we don't have these laws? Who will make
there
the laws?
There are problems about this law that we're talking about. You were here on the 22nd. There are issues in this country which they are difficult to discuss publicly. On the 22nd of, I think it was April or May, June this year, on June this year, a very well-known leader in this country said that any attempt to attack and fight insurgency is an attack on the North. So, when you have such huge political considerations, there are difficulties. I mean, Buhari said that in the newspaper. General Buhari said that any attack on Boko Haram is an attack on the North. So what do you do as a government? So you want to attack Boko Haram. At the same time, a leader, a respected person in society, somebody who carries, the last vote, the last election, over 12 million people voted for him from the North. A man like that, you cannot ignore him. Now he says that if you continue to attack Boko Haram, you are attacking the North. You must be careful.
This is the same man.
You must be careful.
Just a moment,
you
sir.
must be careful.
This is the same man who has also condemned Boko Haram in activities. When your own, I think it was the president's special advisor on media, Reuben Abati, wrote a statement acknowledging and even thanking him to the effect that he condemned Boko Haram.
Very good, Marco.
I don't know if you recall the
consistency. What I've just said, you cannot deny that. That's something that happened. Now, if the man, now because election is coming, for the first time, your tongue tie is now loose, and you can now begin to talk like normal people. That doesn't mean anything.
Did you release a statement to that particular effect? Because a lot of people would not know when that happened.
Which one?
The second one.
It was on Radio Liberty on the 22nd of July. It was on Radio Liberty and it was published on the 20th. No, it was on the 21st on Radio Liberty. It was published this day, front page of this day, by a newspaper. I'm not talking from this is fact. You can go.
Well,
can go and check it. So the point I'm trying to make to you, is that there are political issues. There are political. Look, people do not understand what this particular president, the body of this president, is bearing. It's like Jesus Christ. He's bearing the body of everybody.
We're running out of time, but before we switch to one more thing.